5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everybody. How the devil are you? Welcome along. It is a completely mess. I hate Friday night games. I hate Tuesday night games. And we've got both. Hi to George. Hi to Highfields. Welcome along, one and all. It just totally throws the week out. I have to say, if you're wondering sort of, am I alone? Well, let me tell you that, I was about to show you an empty chair and he came back just in time. I will be joined by Wayne. It is the press conference review. Like, subscribe and share and do all that nonsense. And if you're watching on catch up, do exactly the same. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, muchas gracias. Highfields, why have you got in your name? I'm going to ask this. You've got Highfield Fox. Now, like I have sort of, let's say, like Chris DJ Foz Forium, because that's my radio name in some quarters. But you've got Highfields Fox. Little things like that amuse me. And when you get to my age, many things are little. They don't always amuse. But look, we're going to have a look. We kick off at 8 o'clock tonight. We're live from 7:15 with the watch along. But Marty was being interviewed this week. In fact, he was interviewed quite early this week. Now, not only did Leicester City make it very, very difficult for this to be found, but they also need to get a decent sound system. They need to get you can hear the answers. Isn't there a quiz show? If this is the answer, what is the question? This could be, and Wayne's agreeing with me, I can see in the green room, this could be Leicester City's press conference titles. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Seagrave. If this is the answer, what is the question? But let's have a look and let's see what he had to say for himself, and then we'll have a chat about it afterwards.
Just looking at the team news ahead of the game on Friday night, any fresh injuries in the squad?
No fresh injuries. Everybody good and ready to start the game.
Good. Some other news coming out of the club this week was the new contract for Louis Page, a new academy product coming through and getting his first pro deal. What's your reaction to that?
Very happy. I think that shows the confidence that both parts will have in each other. I'm a big believer on Louis' talent. I think that he will be important, and I'm very happy on the steps he's been taking so far since I've been here.
You've seen him in training, you've seen him in matches, you've seen him around the building as well. Talk us through Louis' character, what he's actually like as a very young man at this stage.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. He's easy to work with. He's always training well. I'm happy yesterday, for instance, he played with under-21s and he did at really good level, showing great character, great attitude, and that's what you expect from a guy at this stage, right? But Yeah, I think that he's one of those, not only him, but all the rest of the guys from the academy. They have shown a lot of good things, not only on the pitch, but as well off the pitch. And as I said, hopefully he's many more coming.
Quite how good is he? Where do you think, from the short amount of time you've been able to watch him, where his ceiling could be?
It's always difficult to say what the ceiling is. What I know is that he's already a very good player and that he will only improve and develop. The fact that he already start games in the championship, that he's already getting minutes, that he's training with us every day, says a lot, because there is a lot of competition, internal competition at the moment. And yeah, he's part of the squad. He's competing with experienced players, with players that some of them, I don't know, I could say Harry Wings, I could say other players like Buba, like Skippy, like JJ. He's competing with all of them, doing really well on training. And again, I'm sure that at the end of the season, we will see a development on his game, and hopefully he will be an important player for us.
Because when you have played him, he has operated in the number 10 position, or certainly higher in the midfield. You've had Bill Elkin, who's there this season. You've had Aaron Ramsey, Jordan James. The fact that he is in that conversation, I suppose, is the biggest compliment for him at the minute.
100%. And as well, I think naturally perhaps his best position will be, in my opinion, 8. It's not a big difference, play 8 or 10 in our system, but probably it fits better, this capacity that he got to receive in the base, to help the team to build up, but as well to get the opportunity to get into the box. He has been doing as a 10 because of the situation, which he has done really well as well. As I said, I think that it's important that he understands that we trust him, that development is not just a straight line. It will be up and downs, but we are here to help him on this process. And so far, I'm very happy that he's with us, that he signed this new contract, and that he will be part of the long term and the future of the club.
I know we've mentioned about other players already in last week's press conference, but Luke Thomas and Louis Page both have signed new deals. Are the club actively looking to sign up more of the, not only the academy talent, but also the senior talent who deals may be running out at this stage?
Well, as I said before, I think that the fact that academy players got this edge in terms of understanding the club, or in terms of how they feel about the club, is an extra. But the most important thing is that they are good players. Otherwise, we will not be trying to extend or continue our collaboration. That's for sure. So what I've seen from Luke, I think he has been very steady, very improving in many areas of his game. One of my opinion, one of the best performances since I've been here in terms of the whole squad, doing well. He knows as well that he can keep improving, and the fact that now not only him but Louis have extended shows that we have a plan.
West Bromwich Albion next up on Friday night. What have you made to them as an opponent ahead of this game?
Yeah, difficult game. It's always in Championship. They are a good team with a good manager. Always West Brom is a strong club in the Championship, and especially at the home, they are always. It's difficult to get points there, but I'm sure that we keep improving. If we keep improving the areas of the game that I was quite happy on the last performance, despite the result, I think that we can get something. But definitely, we will need to have a good performance if we want to get the 3 points.
You mentioned it there already, but the Hawthorns on any day, but also under the lights on a night game, poses a really difficult place to go.
It is, and again, that's for me very important that we play with personality. I think it's something that in some games perhaps we have not achieved this consistency. That in the last game against Coventry, I think that for many minutes I could see a team that I could recognize, a team that is closer to what we want to be. Definitely there is a lot of areas that we can still improve, but it's going to be a good test because the atmosphere, it will be demanding. We play away against a team that is not far from us in the table. And after 2 draws, you analyze the situation. And against Oxford, you could say, it's not the worst outcome, but on paper, it's not a good result to draw away. Then at home, you expect to get a win to make this point away even better. But again, we play a decent game, but we miss the chances, we miss the last edge, and then it's suddenly only 2 points from 6. So then we need to make sure that we have a good performance and that we get the 3 points.
How important is it to get back to winning ways because of the 2 draws ahead of this one?
It's important. It's important. First of all, it's important to play good because we know that the better we play, the more chances we have to have the consistency in the results. And second, as well, it's important to have the habit of winning. I think good teams can win even on the bad days. We know that we have been winning. Charlton away was not a great game for us, but still we managed to grind it out, and that's part of the championship. That especially in the start with the situation we had in the summer, I think it's very important to have a steady start because I know that there is quality in the squad, and it's my job to get the best of all of them. But important, definitely, to try to get a win away.
Martin, thank you very much. Best luck on Friday night.
Thank you.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Wayne, let me play this before we start. That takes us back, doesn't it?
It's before my time, Chris, but
Yeah. I thought you actually had a part in it.
hey,
Well, is it me, or are we not seeing the full press conference? I mean, that was 6 minutes. Now, you're not telling me that's the full press conference.
no, they're edited, Chris. I mean, there's a guy called Beanie Man who used to put out all the press conferences in the Premier League, and the 20-odd minutes. And to be honest, normally you get it's just like the only having Owen's questions. They're all the questions, and even that video, it starts off. It's not him coming in and welcoming. He's already sat there. And there's already been questions, so that's definitely edited down.
It's almost like it's stage managed so that questions aren't asked.
I think so. And what's interesting is that when Leicester played one of the pre-season friendlies, Owen Palmer-Atkin was actually using their stream. See what I mean? They were co-commentating on one of the pre-season games. So I don't know whether just had a bit of a nice little not handshake, but it's just the arrangement that he's featured.
Yeah, it just annoy me really. I mean, I'm going to jump straight in because obviously we're playing West Brom this weekend, tomorrow, tonight even.
Yes.
No wonder we'll be knackered if we play them that often. But, West Bromwich Albion is the team that he wanted to go and manage. And West Brom, this was why he was on gardening leave. Now, I would want to be asking the question, how did it feel going to play the team that you wanted to manage?
Exactly. That's an interesting one, isn't it, Chris?
I mean, what are your thoughts? You like me asking you the difficult questions.
Really, you, Chris? You don't do things like that, do you? I think that puts extra spice on it. It does put extra spice on it. It's got to, hasn't it? And I didn't think West Brom would be doing that well, to be honest, but they are. But they lost last week. Who beat them? Oxford or somebody beat them last week, didn't they? 1-0, one of the lower teams.
I'm just having a look here.
It's either Sheff Wednesday or Oxford, I'm sure it was.
No, I will find out. But it just winds me up, like I say, that those are the questions, that I know you've said before, Owen asks the questions that the fans want answered, but I don't think he always does. And it's almost like it's a case of, we'll let you ask all the questions first. That'll be the bit that goes out, but you just don't ask anything a bit, questionable.
Yeah, and that we both said before, there's a female journalist who asks really good questions, actually.
Yeah.
Really good. The one thing you'd say with Owen, he's done a great interview with Marty, but sometimes it's a bit safe, isn't it? Questions he asks, really.
Yes, yeah.
Some of the meaty ones. Remember Jason Bourne used to ask them on behalf of TalkSport?
Yeah. Yes.
He would make the manager squirm with his questions. But he asked questions that we wanted asking, didn't he?
But then we don't see those now, do we? It was Middlesbrough, by the way.
Right. Oh, Middlesbrough, well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, a really struggling team. But no, in fairness, the week before that it was Derby. So I think that's probably
sorry, I'm getting mixed up with Stoke, Chris.
How are you? Right. No, you messaged me. You know, you'd actually watched this, and you put, "Can we love this manager?" And you probably know what's going to be coming now. Can we love this manager any more than we do? And it's true that we seem to have dodged a bullet with one or two of the managers that we avoided. We've got this guy in who's doing all the right things, saying all the right things as well. But I did say to you, would we loved him as much if he'd come in straight after Enzo?
Yeah, you asked another easy question, didn't you, Chris?
And
I remember thinking about it when I was working, thinking, oh, well, you know what? I think we would have not as much, because that's natural, isn't it? Because we've just gone through a really tough time, and that's why you loaded the question in it, because when you really have a really tough time, and then when you get even a glimmer of hope, you feel euphoric, basically.
Yes.
I think my version is Enzo was limited. He was too stuck in his ways. He was too regimented, and he wanted players to absolutely. And I did like when I heard about Marty, the fact that he just play back five. He plays the way he wants to, same way as Enzo. But when it comes to the front five, he does like his players, like Cooper wanted to just express themselves and be very fluid. Whereas Enzo wanted to micromanage even the front five.
Yes.
Why the front five? We were quite toothless in attack, and we couldn't break teams down. Whereas I think against teams that sit, I think Marty will develop a better attacking side, because if you got teams back, if you play the ball round the back, it allows them to get set. But if you play the ball quickly forward, they don't have time to set. And I think
no. Well, this is completely the thing, like you say, and it's less dangerous. Keep the ball straight up. If you do lose it, you've got time yourself, like you say, to get back into position. I love the fact that he called Oliver Skippy. Yeah. What, Skippy? We're playing West Bromwich Albion tomorrow.
He calls Monga Jesse.
Sorry?
He calls Monga Jesse.
Does he?
Doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Just
why?
I don't know. I thought I misheard him the first, and then he said it again. Yeah, Jesse's a great player. Yeah, call him Jess. Which having a daughter called Jess is a bit, Jeremy Jess, thinking, okay.
Yeah. It's obviously a reason. Look, let's have a look at the main points, though. No additional injuries, which is good. It also means, obviously, Ricardo came through 70-odd minutes without getting injured. I don't think he will start 2 games, because we've obviously got Wrexham on Tuesday, and we're quite lucky that we're playing Friday, so we've got that extra day's rest, if you like, to recuperate. But look, my thoughts on Ricardo, and he should be playing, he should be starting. But given his age, even I would not expect him to necessarily play 70 minutes for both games.
Yeah, because you've always been concerned about whether this season will be another sick note season, weren't you, really? And whether, as he gets older, because he's an impulse fast player, and he's never really created that on the wing. But I do think the midfield role suits him better. And so, if he's played on the wing, or I used to play central midfield, every now and again I played on the wing, and that's very hard. The sprinting up and down is very hard to cover. And I do think that, as Jim so eloquently trapped you, that Ricardo is we all said, didn't we? You said if he's fit, he's a vital player in the team. Will he stay fit? So it's going to be interesting how Martin manages his injury stroke fitness, the same as he's managing Monga's, really.
Mm.
I love Monga, but I like the way he's managing the team. He's a brilliant manager in that regard, where he knows what he needs at the time and he bears in mind what players are capable of doing.
Indeed, and it's a long season, we know, in the Championship, and don't you worry, I will get my own back on Jim tonight.
Nothing less, Chris.
No. Yeah, I mean, I am worried. He's on a hell of a lot of money, 75 grand. And I said exactly the same about Harry Winks, although he seems to have Harry Winks seems to have got his head right now. With Harry Winks, it was a mental problem in as much as he was up his own arse a bit, But yeah, with Ricardo, I mean, and Kate said this, and so did Steve, who were both at the game, that once Hamza came on, we weren't as good in that part of the field. So you have got to start with Ricardo, and this is you would look at it, and no disrespect to Wrexham, but you would look at it and go, this is probably going to be the more difficult game.
Yeah, I think it is, Chris. There's a lot more solid side. I mean, we've all got different preferences. I prefer Ricky Pete in the midfield and Hamza as right back, because I think Ricky coming forward, but it depends. I mean, we've lost Ramsey, which was significant. But it looks like he's going to be a regular, I would imagine, wouldn't you, in the side now?
Yes. I don't particularly. I don't know if you saw the Kate show, the Pick and Mix, which started an hour and a half later than it was advertised to. I'm glad you and Jim had a little chat while you were waiting for us to go live. That was a bit of a mix-up, but look, I think you've got to play your best players in the best positions, and that is Ricardo at right back.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I said about Ricardo midfield, Chris, because we were lacking with Samari, but I think with the midfield developing now, we're going to end up with a really strong midfield, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think the midfield was always the less of the areas that I was particularly worried about personally. I'd like to see Winks alongside JJ. I think that would be. I think he's the nearest thing that we've got to KDH since KDH, but obviously he was playing in that role because Ramsey was not able, and of course Ramsey misses this one and Wrexham as well. Yeah. But we'll have a look. We'll have a look at Kate's team in a bit, and you'll see what our thoughts are on that, because I pretty much was on the same page as her. Talking about being on the same page, Louis Page. Hey, come on. People think this show is thrown together. It's not. It's scripted, almost, isn't it? AI, yes, it is. There you go. He signed his first professional contract after making his first team debut this season against Huddersfield, and he says, "I'm a big believer in Louis' talent. I think he will be important, and I'm very happy on the steps he's been taking since I've been here." He does look. It's him and Monga at the moment, isn't it? Everybody else seems to have fallen by the wayside. And I suppose, as much as I wanted to see all these youngsters coming through, we couldn't, given the choice, field, 10 academy graduates, could we? I know Okoko has gone to Newport, scored a couple of goals. They're struggling, though. They're only just above the relegation zone. I don't know if their manager will last the weekend. He's there with Baybrook. Alves has gone to Huddersfield, and he can now play in the Caribou Cup, which I presume he did this week. Although he played for us, it's a new rule that you're allowed 2 games now before you are cup tied. But talking, Alves and Baybrook were the ones we all wanted to see, but they seem to have gone by the wayside. Other players, Nelson, who Oxford said was too good for us, has come and gone, or not gone, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And it's Page and Monga that are flying the flag for the academy at the moment.
It is, and interestingly, so we did get carried away a little with the pre-season when we played the easier teams. But obviously, like you say, Chris, in reality, well, even when the lads go and play in Division 1 or Division 2, it's a big step up even from the under-21s.
Yes.
But one thing I do remember Kingy saying when he was in charge of the first couple of pre-seasons, when Louis Page scored those 2 goals, he said, yeah, Louis Page, he's the brightest. Basically, you tell him once and he just gets it, gets the football. You tell him the structure, what I want him to do. No second. And he said he can play in virtually all positions on the pitch. So Kingy raved about him and the fact that he's a really good prospect. What's interesting is Marty's still not. He played in the under-21s in the week. So Marty's not just chucking them in and saying, here's your place. Every player, Winks, Page, Monga, they have to fight for the place, which is so healthy to see, isn't it?
It is. No, it is. And I think this has been the trouble in the past, that players expected to start, and when you've got Winks, 90 grand a week, highest wage earner in the Championship of anybody, Wout Faes, international defender, being stuck on the bench and only coming on and saying, like, I'm not going to play you until your head's right. They're hoping to leave. Obviously, they're not going to leave now till at least January. They both look like they've got their heads in the right place. And fair play to Vestergaard, because he has sort of kind of kept his head in the right place, hasn't he, all the time. But, now they seem to be like they're going to be two mainstays going forward, I'll say, at least till January.
Yeah, they do. And to be honest, Chris, it is the older wage, the wages of those higher wage earners still is not where you want the top of the wage structure to be. But when they're not performing and got a bad attitude, then it's completely wasted money. But it's like Samara, is he worth 75 grand a week? No. Is Winks? No. But if he gets us promoted, and he's done his job, then you'd say, because 75 grand a week, you've got to be performing and you've got to be in the team every week. And if you're attacking midfield, you've got to be having goals and assists. And it does seem like Marty has got those sorted out. But one thing I will say as well, there's a guy I follow on Twitter and he says centre-back Kevin Gray is training with the first team this week. Kevin Gray is training with the first team. So there's another academy lad that's allowed to play. So, I think it's such a healthy place we're at. And I like the way Marty's used the pre-seasons to kick the older players up the bum. But now what he's doing is bringing the older players back in, saying, well, just because you see great kids doesn't mean to say you're going to. So he's such a brilliant manager.
No, totally. And I can see you all gushing about him. My mind's gone now.
And you're disappointed that we've not got a bullshitter anymore, haven't you?
No, I'm just disappointed that we had 20-minute Brendan Rodgers interviews, which were bullshitting. Ruud van Nistelrooy just came up and said what I said last week and walked off. But no, I think we have got a very good manager here. And like you say, Ben Nelson might have been thinking, I'm coming in, this is my season. He played a lot pre-season, didn't look too bad, didn't have the best of games against Huddersfield, but now he's going to be looking, and he's seen, so what was the guy's name again that's coming forward?
Kevin Gray.
Kevin Gray. So he's probably looking at Kevin Gray and thinking, shit, I've got to up my game because I thought I was the academy graduate for this position, and then this guy's coming in now and training. It's great to have that competition. And we've got that competition even though Marty's saying at the start that I want a smaller squad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Isn't it funny how the pre-season and the start of the season, it's not playing out how I thought it would play out with the players selected, but he's finding his way and it's working. And even when because he said a couple of draws, if we'd have been able to find the back of the net, which we must work on, a couple of draws would be. But even though we're getting draws, there's no disappointed. I've not met a disappointed Leicester fan this season at all. Have you?
There's been a few on here. There have been a few on here. Look, Luke Thomas, talking of disappointed Leicester fans, and you led me very nicely onto that. I had somebody, and I don't know if it was on here or so I've certainly mentioned it on here, but I think it was on Twitter or Facebook when I posted that Luke had got a new 4-year contract. Was saying like, bloody hell, here John Rudkin again is giving out goodies. What the hell is he doing? Now, we like to hate a player. With me, it was Vout last season. People realise that this is an academy player. If we sell, he's what, 20, 21, 22? No, 23 I think he is now, or something like that. So we've got him till he's 27. So basically we've got him at the best years, of his career, really. But if we do really well, if he proves himself to be good, and we turned down 5 million for him, but after the deals we were doing pre-season, let's say we get 12 million for him, 10 million for him, that is all pure profit because he came through the academy.
Exactly, Chris, and you like it because you've been on your calculator, haven't you?
But it is. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if we sell, I don't know, if we sell Mavadidi, let's say, that's not all pure profit because we've probably got to pay the club that we bought him off a sell-on clause, and we got, we're only allowed to, for PSR purposes, to do it, and that was a thing with McAteer, 10 million off Ipswich for him, and again I liked him. He wasn't everybody's favourite, but that was all pure profit. I actually happen to like Luke Thomas. I think he's the better option. And if Duck's watching, he'd probably be going mad over his Danish corn, well, whatever they eat in Denmark, because he loves Victor Christensen. He's one of theirs, so obviously I understand that. But I prefer Luke Thomas on that wing. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I do, and it's interesting. Marty says he's one of the best performers since I've been here.
Yes,
which is right, and he's a squad player. He loves the club. That contract was a brilliant contract to sign. It's like signing Casey on that contract allowed us to get that money for him. So, look, a lot of criticism has been levelled at the board, especially John Rudkin, about the contract, and some of the wages and the lengths have been they went too far. But the contracts I think that have been signed this year, I think all of them have been really good for the club.
Oh, I agree.
He's got a 4-year contract. He's not going to go for 1 or 2 million, is he, Luke Thomas?
This is it. Unless we want him to for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the thing, and people have got to look. I mean, people hated Ben Chilwell, said he was rubbish, blah blah blah. When he was England's first choice left back.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be that bad, But
Luke Thomas as well, Chris, a few times he's ended up in the box as Ndidi is. So it seems that Marty wants to develop him as going into fluid attack, and then the midfielders dropping in and covering, because he wants that full rotational attack and defence, doesn't he?
Like 24 he is, sorry. Not 24. So we've got him till he's 28. And as you said, Marty's exact words were one of the best performers. And in Marty we trust, because we tend to, as fans, and I do this as much as everybody else, we look at an individual player and go, look, this other guy is better. But it's how that player fits in with the players around him.
Yeah, and what I think Luke Thomas does do is, like against Salah, I mean, what a brilliant game he had last season against Salah. I mean, a world-class player, and I think Luke Thomas will not submit, but he will get on board with whatever the coach is saying. He's a team player, and that is important. It's like Hamza. You need those players in your squad. During the Great Escape and the Premier winning season, we had a lot of those players in the squad that really will fight. And he is a player that, like Hamza, that will fight for the badge.
Yes, indeed, 100%. And I think we also, just to sidetrack, I think we were we expect signings, but when we make signings, it's like, well, why are we paying them that much? Well, even after we won the Premier League, we were still Leicester City. We didn't suddenly become Man United that people would walk over broken glass to play for, and we had to pay them. I mean, if we hadn't got those signings in, or we'd then gone and signed another Jamie Vardy instead of an Islam Slimani, people said, what the hell we're doing with Premier League? So it's a no-win situation, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's only relative, Chris, because we got relegated. If we'd have stayed in the Premier League under Rude, for instance, then you got less license to ask those questions because we've stayed in the Premier League, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we'd have the second coming before we had Rude keeping us in the Premier League, to be honest with you. In fact, at my age, I think I might have my second coming. Let me put it that way. Look, we're playing West Brom. Interestingly, managed by Ryan Mason. Now, I don't think you were with the channel at the time, but I can't remember. I think it was after possibly Claude Puel went and before Brendan joined us, and we were talking about what manager we would like, blah, blah. It might have been before that because that was quite a quick changeover, wasn't it, from Puel to Rodgers? So it was possibly and I can't remember who came before Puel. That's one of those difficult questions. Somebody in the chat will tell us who was manager before Puel. But somebody, and I might have been, I can't believe it was Brad, but somebody suggested, in fact, I think it might have been Dave. It just sounds like one of Dave's quotes. Why don't we go for Ryan Mason? Now, Ryan Mason at the time, ex-player, he was a stand-in manager at Spurs, I think, when Jose got sacked.
Just over 30, was he? 30 years old, really young.
Yeah, very young. Or it could have been Hose B. It was Jose or Hose B, one of the two. Hose B. Come on. It doesn't work when you got to explain the jokes, folks. But now he's at West Brom. But I would have loved to have said to Marty, like I said at the start of the show, this is the team that you were put on gardening leave because you wanted to speak to them. Hi, Jay, how you doing? How does it feel now going to go and play them as an opposition manager? Because it was at that point when Ryan Mason got the job that he was put on gardening leave. And I think this is the first time he's been back. I'd love to have asked that question. Really would. Yeah. But he said they're a good, I mean, typically he's not going to say, I think they're rubbish, and I should have been given the job. But he said they're a good team with a good manager. It's a strong club in the Championship and especially at home. It's difficult to get points there. I'm sure if we keep on improving areas of the game, I'm quite happy on the last performance, despite the result. I think we could get something. Now, West Brom, I mean, let's not forget, I know they're known as Boing Boing Baggies, but they had about 7 consecutive seasons in the Premier League.
Yeah,
they were no more Boing Boing than we are.
About the same kind of club, Chris, to be honest, historically,
Yeah, and we are the team that's been promoted out of the second tier more than any other team, which obviously also means, and I don't need my calculator to work this out, but it also means we've been relegated more than any other team. In fact, there was a TikTok. Yeah, exactly. Roller coaster. There's a thing on TikTok that it goes England's most relegated clubs, and I think we are number one. But they are a team that should be fighting for promotion every season, are fighting for promotion every season. Don't know whether you'd call them a sleeping giant or not. That might be stretching it a little bit. But, they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they?
They are. And historically, I remember them from the Jeff Astle days. Regular, as you say, old Division 1.
I don't remember those days.
No, before your time, Chris. But,
yeah.
But historically, a really, top tier side, basically, with the odd relegation. That's what I remember at West Brom from. And it's funny with these managers, isn't it? So you get like the Will Still, what a unique approach to deciding how to appoint a manager. But you got this guy who's obviously managed He's played for a good club, managed, and I think you have to take a chance on these managers because, you know, everybody's trying to get the edge, and to get the edge, sometimes you've got to take a chance, and some chances they just really do well in the fly.
Yeah. And I think it sounded like you said hedge, but I think you meant edge. Jay, we're coming on to Monga in a bit, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, they're currently sat in 7th. They are usually around the playoffs, but they usually just drop out. They've got 10 points, only one less than us. They've lost 2 games, which, funnily enough, were the last 2. I believe, yes, the last 2, Middlesbrough and 2-1 and Derby. They beat Stoke, Wrexham and Blackburn, and they drew with Portsmouth. So they've had a good start. Birmingham were a team that worried me, and then we came along and we basically put them to the sword. Coventry were another team that worried me, really probably more than Birmingham. 12 goals in 2 games. I'm thinking, God almighty, with our defence. And we didn't let them score. Should I be worried about West Brom?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the stats for the Middlesbrough game, and basically they had better possession, slightly less XG, 15 shots, 3 on target. Middlesbrough had 9 with 6 on target, more touches in the box. So they were really there or thereabouts. Middlesbrough were 2-0 up, and then they scored. West Brom scored in the 90th minute. So they are there. The Championship is like the playoffs. There's so many teams that could. Towards the end of the season, there's probably 12 teams that could actually get in the playoffs, isn't there? Towards the end,
yes.
Sometimes you get 1 or 2 points separate 5 or 6 teams. So I think there's a lot of teams, averagely good teams, and I think this early on we're just trying to find out who's going to have the long-term form. Like you said, can Middlesbrough keep it up? Is it an early start, and will we start? If we'd have got a couple of wins, Chris, we'd have been higher up, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, this is the comparison form. With my friend AI. You all right there, love?
Well, one more win, Chris. If we'd have won one of the last 2 games we've drawn, we'd have been above Stoke in 2nd place.
We would. Your calculator's working, isn't it? But this is the 2 teams comparison here. 40% chance of winning for West Brom. 32% for Leicester. Look, you can see the various different attack and defence ratings as well. They have conceded. We've conceded. I think that is. Yeah, no. I've got this wrong. No, we've conceded 5. They've conceded 6. They've scored 7. We've scored 8. XG is pretty much about the same. We've actually kept 3 clean sheets. We should be getting Andrex on our shirt, shouldn't we? Sponsored now. Now we actually know how to keep a clean sheet.
I thought we were winning games 3-2 all season, Chris. So yeah.
And look, the team rating, FootMob's team rating there, 9.98, 0.93. This could be, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but this could be another draw.
Yeah, I've got us down as winning 3-2, which is a bit ambitious, really.
Yes.
At the Hawthorns, it could be like 1-0. But I'm waiting for us to fully click. And I think with what I like the fact that I think JJ will start most games now. And with him and Winks, I think we will, when we click, we will fully click. And we'll score a few goals. And I'm just saying in hope that I think it's going to be against West Brom.
Yeah, obviously you get some points in the prediction league then. I want to talk Steffi Mavididi, and we're going to look at Kate's team in a second, and his missed chance against Coventry. I felt so sorry for him. It's like the cameraman at the end of the game was looking for the child that was crying, couldn't find it, so he zoomed in on Steffi Mavididi.
Yeah.
I have been screaming at Steffi. He had a chance. I'm not sure it was in the same game. My mind is going everywhere. But he had 2 defenders on him and possibly even 3. And instead of just taking it on the first shot with his right foot, he tried to get onto his left foot and the chance had gone. And I'm going, for God's sake, learn to shoot first time. Had that breakaway against Coventry, shot first time, and they had time to take another touch as it happened, and he'd have probably scored that. He's going to learn from that, though. But do you start him, having made that mistake?
I think you, in the show with Kate, you said you would start him, or did Kate say that because it might damage his confidence if you, which I thought was a really good point. I
do say them occasionally.
You say a lot of them, Chris, but then you spoil it with asking really difficult questions.
That is my job. It's in my job description.
It is.
It says it here, look, always ask the difficult questions of Wayne.
If he's not squirming, then you're not asking the right
question.
I'm
not doing my job, yeah.
It's like as Jay said, I do feel for Steffi because I think all along it has been his confidence. Sometimes it might come across as a bad attitude, which a few of us have kind of said in different times, but I just think it's confidence. And with some players, if they've got a lack of confidence in such a pivotal position, I mean, to decide to shoot first time when I had time to touch the ball and set it and just make the goalkeeper sit down and then finish it, which people do all up and down the country on a five-a-side pitch on a Saturday and Sunday, and then to not hit the first time, but it took a touch and then get tackled. It's like in the key moments, he's making the wrong decision at the pivotal time, which,
I agree 100% with that. But at least he's trying. At least he's having the attempts. If he wasn't having the attempts, and do you remember during the Great Escape season, when we were going through that really bad run, and we weren't getting stuffed, it was 1-0s, 2-1s, but we were losing. But I can remember I was sat in the Kop because I had a season ticket that season, and you'd watch Leicester, and as they came forward, they got to the point, in line with the penalty box, and it was like, shit, what do I do now? I don't want to shoot. I can't shoot. They'll go mad if I miss. Oh, I'll pass it over there. And until Kramaric came on, and he'd just have a shot, and he wouldn't give a shit. Now, okay, I never minded that he didn't score many goals for us because at least he was having the shots, where everybody else is kind of, oh, I don't shoot, So, got to give Steffi credit. He is, and he's taken the responsibility. And I do think we should start him. But let's have a look at that in a bit more detail, because here's Kate's team. And I apologise if Kate is watching as well, because this isn't exactly her team. Because she put Monga in to start. Now, let's talk Monga, because I know you do like talking Monga. This guy is fantastic, right? I do not disagree with you on that. This guy, he had 3 players on him in one game. He had his back to the goal. He flipped it behind him, turned round, nutmegged, and went ahead and passed the ball into the box, or possibly had a shot, I can't remember. The guy knows no fear. My worry is, though, when he started, I think, was it Huddersfield he started against? And he seems to do better. Mavididi coming on for 70 minutes, and Mavididi has a couple on him all the time. But as Marty said, in the Championship last time, he was fantastic. We all said him and Abdul are going to tear the Premier League apart. Little did we know. But if Mavadidi's tired, then he could have tired the defenders out, and then Monga comes on. But she's got Monga starting. I think we will see a completely different team on Tuesday to what we're seeing on Friday. At least half the team, I think, will be different. Would you agree, or do you think he'll still go for his strongest team?
It depends what we do this weekend, because I do think it does. We do need a win, don't we? I think a lot of fans say, if we can get a draw against West Brom, it's not the end of the world. We're not losing ground to rivals, but I think then the pressure will be on to get a victory, really. Because we do need to start getting 3 points on the board. But I agree with you guys about, I would love to see Monga starting. But I do think Marty's, it's like with Louis Page, and how he's playing in under 21s this week. So he's really trying to manage the young kids, and I really respect him for that. So in the future, Monger's brilliant, but I do get why he's playing Steffe. And maybe he's thinking, you know what, as you said, we can bring Monger on as sub, but let's just really give, which Daka never had. Daka never had a series, or Iheanacho, did they? They never had a series of games to help them build the confidence. So maybe Marty is just wanting to give him a few games to give him the best chance possible, and then he'll have his answer rather than chuck people in at the deep end.
Yeah,
is a bit cruel, to be honest. Yeah.
And
also, one thing I want to say, Chris, I was going to put my pink Monger shirt on. I put the black on because I don't think he's going to start tonight.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? And I think one will start today and the other will start on Tuesday. And I also think that's very true with Ricky P. I don't think he'll be starting both, like I said earlier.
No, I think Ricky P is more important for this game. And what's also interesting with Mavididi and Mongar is Marty's probably looking at him thinking, well, look, Mongar is on his trajectory upwards. We've got to be careful with him. Whereas Steffe, because Steffe is 27 or 28 now, Steffe. I'm sure he is. No. So I think it's a real pivotal time for him. He's probably sat down and said, look, you know, what problems have you had? You've done that in a sales team. Right, what's your best points? What are your bad points? What you struggled with? Right, okay, well, I'll tell you what we can do. We can work something there, and hopefully he's had that with Mavididi, and they've got a plan. And this is the plan that he's had after his chat with Steffe. Because I really do hope he comes good, because he's got the goods, Steffe Mavididi.
Totally, he has. We've seen it. But I suppose there's a bit of pressure looking over his shoulder, thinking, "Shit, I've got Monger after me position." But look, this season, and if we've still got him next season, he's doing his A levels. You know, he's probably doing his homework in the changing room while he's putting his boots on. You imagine, aren't you, on Monday morning? I'm sorry, sir. I left my homework in the changing rooms at King Power Stadium. What an excuse that would be, wouldn't it? You know.
I wonder whether he does get a little bit of extra slack because.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, look, Leicester City will. They've got this great academy. They will be doing something with their schools, I'm sure, to say, right, you know, he's going to be here on Tuesday training, but in the afternoon he'll be in the common room, you know, doing his homework or whatever. I mean, he's got to have time off from the school to do the training. So whether he's got a private tutor as well or not, I don't know. But no, it is all about the thing. But interestingly, James and Winks together, and I agreed with Kate on that. Ayew or possibly Page, but surely we've now got to see Karanga start.
Yeah, and I do think I think Page could come in and do a job, but I like the fact of Ayew getting dropped back actually, because he does that naturally anyway, doesn't he? He always drops down into the 8 or the sort of 10 role. So I'd say play him there, because this is another interesting. So he's still working. He's a month behind Enzo, isn't he, in how much time he's had? So he's still working things out. This is still pre-season for him. So I would say trying Carranza up front and letting Ayew drop into the middle. That could be really interesting how that works out.
Yeah. I know at the start of the season I said Ayew would be our main man up front. And those yellow cards, by the way, don't mean that they got a yellow card in that last game. We didn't get any cards at all. It just means that at some point during the season they've received a yellow card. But what was I going to say then? Yeah, I said Ayew was probably going to be our main man up front unless we bought another striker. I think this is his better role, to be honest with you. He's not an out-and-out striker, although that is what he's listed as. But I do think, as you say, that is better role. Interesting to see if he starts Louis Page there and then maybe brings AU on if things aren't going well, or we just need to tighten the hatches towards the end of the game. It's going to be very, very interesting. Wayne, you're going to join us at for the post-match reaction.
I am for Jim's Are You Loving?
Oh, if he doesn't start, Jim won't be coming on, I'm sure. You know. But mate, thank you very much for coming on. Everybody, 7:15, so an hour and 24 minutes. No, an hour and 19 minutes. We'll be back with Tom doing the pre-match chat. Do join us then and stay with us for the live watch along. Thanks very much to Wayne. Thanks to everybody in the chat, Jay, for his questions. And please smash the likes, subscribe if you're new, share it if you know anybody who's a Leicester fan. We had somebody join us the other day that had never been on the channel before and joined us, and was nice to see him. Like I say, if you're listening on your favourite podcast platform, whichever that is, thank you for lending us your ears. Wayne, I will see you later on tonight.
Take care.
Come on, you foxes.
Come on.
Come on.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.